the Scorpius 16 mil. So that's what a lot of my family have gravitated to now, the Collin Johns Scorpeus. And I got to tell you, I used it in the tournament the last few days, and I got pretty wristy with things. It's got a nice swing rate to it, and now I got a bit of wrist pain.
Okay.
But I got to sort through that. So some of my shot, I started to get into like semi-Western and Western grips and with the drives, but I like it a lot. We love it. But I mean, talk to us about this design. Why is this the Collin Johns model? It's notably different than all the other Yola paddles. So talk to us about it.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people gravitate towards it just simply because it's so easy to play with. You have the wider body, of course, and it's not quite as long as something like the Perseus. So it's more maneuverable. You have a bigger sweet spot because people mishit the ball more left and right than they do up and down. And of course, the 16 millimeters, it really makes it that much more forgiving. So it's a nice combination of maneuverability while at the same time having a lot of feel. The only thing is, like you mentioned, you are liable to get a little bit more wristy with it because you don't have that added length, that added snap and leverage. So to make up for it, a lot of times people do compensate with their wrists. So it's something that you don't want to do too much of. You can get away with it a little bit, but definitely something that some people struggle with.
Yeah, I noticed that, and I'll get through my wrist pains. I've had it before. When I first started playing pickleball, that's a tendency that a lot of people have, is to get very wristy. And now here at the Yola Clinic that we're at the 2025 Yola Celebration, that's one of the things that they teach right away is about locking your wrist in certain positions with basic dinking and things like this. I wanted to ask you, how much of the training here at the Yola Celebration Clinic is shaped by you and Ben?
Certainly, we have an impact on the on-court curriculum, but I wouldn't say that it's our bread and butter curriculum. So Zach Taylor is heading that up this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he has in store. So we just came from a tournament, so we didn't really have a lot of impact on the curriculum, but certainly, if we want to add something of our own this week, I'm sure we'll do that.
Now, in terms of curriculum, Jeremy and I are signed up to work with Eric White this afternoon. We're going to be getting RacketPro certification level 1. Now, RacketPro, you've certainly shaped that curriculum, right? Tell us about RacketPro.
Yeah, RacketPro is the coaching certification that I helped to found last year with Yola, and I've crafted much of that curriculum. So definitely put my name on that one, and you'll definitely hopefully enjoy the curriculum later today. Eric White is fantastic, so he's one of our top clinicians, and the level 1 training is really based around the fundamentals. So it's great to get into some of the fancier stuff, some of the more advanced shots, but you have to start with a good foundation. So really hit that hard, things like core position, shot selection, anticipation. We really place those at a premium. And of course, mechanics are important, but also the footwork and contact point, they're just so integral to getting you into position such that you can execute well. So those are a few of the things that are in RacketPro, but very excited to see that expand this year.
Now, my understanding is you have a pretty deep tennis background, right? You went to College Park in Maryland. And how much of your tennis instruction has come through into pickleball? Can you give us any indication of what aspects you've brought into pickleball that you learned from tennis, and then what things that you've had to relearn for pickleball?
Yeah, it's definitely a loaded question. When you come from a tennis background, you come in with certain ways of thinking about the game, which can hurt you or help you. So definitely something like court positioning and movement is pretty natural. It's just like a smaller tennis court in many ways. But then you get to the front of the court and you're playing on a set of parallel lines, the kitchen lines, and everything changes. You tend to move your feet too much and you don't reach for the ball as much as you should to get to a high level. Certainly volleys are high to low in tennis and with an open racket face, and now you have to hit your volleys in pickleball more like table tennis. So there are some notable adjustments you really need to do, and then beyond that, understanding that the court does not lend itself to try to win the point quickly. So being patient, making sure you prioritize something like downward angle with a counter versus just trying to hit through them or trying to hit the open space. And I think that really dawns on tennis players, some faster than others, but once it kind of clicks, they can take their physical skills and really leverage them even more once they understand the game.
Right. And so, like, a basic thing of, in doubles especially, you're not trying to hit winners from baseline, and you're not trying to hit winners in the transition zone, things like this. You're going to prioritize in doubles of just get up to the net, and then you increase your percentage chance of winning the point. Now, it's interesting, as Jeremy and I study the game of pickleball more and more, we're able to look at even certain pros and go, that guy's got a table tennis background, that guy's got a tennis background. But, racket sports are a beautiful thing. Why did you land at pickleball? What to you makes pickleball special and your passion?
Yeah, certainly tennis was my first passion, and for a little while I rejected pickleball, to be quite honest. I mean, Ben was playing a couple years before me, and he kept telling me, you should try pickleball. I was like, no, no, that's a silly sport for old people. I would never. And here we are many years later, and obviously I came around to it, and I really started to realize that there's a lot more than meets the eye with pickleball. So to me, that's what keeps it interesting. It's sort of an unsolved mystery of a sport. You don't really know the perfect way to play. So you can constantly be creative, keep adapting your game, and you never know what's going to work. A lot of times shots that look the funkiest actually work the best for different reasons. So I've really enjoyed adapting my game and taking other shots that maybe looked funny in the beginning and I never would have hit in tennis, but they actually work really well on a pickleball court.
Right, like you have certain shots in pickleball that if you try it with tennis, you're going to break your wrist, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's the cool part about pickleball is people don't realize it looks stupid. It sounds stupid. Not like just a plastic ball being cracked 14 feet away from somebody else. Kind of sounds stupid, but it's actually incredibly technical when you get into the how points can be structured, and then the mental game. Not just of competing, but just of like selecting the right shot in that moment. There's so many shots. The amount of shots that you kind of need to have in your repertoire is quite daunting. You know, if you're at a 4.0 level, it's like, my goodness, you know, like I gotta figure this out and that out. Like you're not wanting to, you know, hit a lot of slice. You're gonna get punished for slice at higher levels. You know, so for people that are developing their game, and this will be the last question. What would be like a number one tip for people that are, say, at the 4.0 level that are trying to bring their game up to a 5.0 level? What do you think is going to help somebody in terms of not just technique or things to focus on from a technique perspective, but more their mental game that's going to help them push through?
Yeah, I would say, especially at that 4.0, 4.5 level, it's a lot about discipline to where you sort of start to know what the right shot is, but you have these physical skills that you feel like, hey, I can still do it. Like, I can still pull this shot off. And you can, but not at a high enough percentage to beat 5.0 players. And that's where you really start to hit a wall and you feel like, I've hit a wall that I can't get any better than this. And a lot of it is not because your physical skills are not good enough. It's simply because you're choosing the wrong shot at the wrong time. And as other players have better skills, something like stronger counterattacking, you're not going to be able to hit the wrong shot at the wrong time. You very quickly get punished for the wrong shot selection. So whatever that shot selection is in the moment, have the discipline to hit the right shot and then see what happens from there. Maybe you do need to develop a few more physical shots that will allow you more artillery. But for the most part, when I see players like 4.0, 4.5 play, they have some great shots and they hit them well some of the time. But the difference between a 4.0 or 4.5 and a 5.5 plus player is the 5.5 player makes it a lot more of the time because they're choosing better shots more of the time. So that would be my single general piece of advice to 4.0, 4.5 players.
So they have the discipline to go with the higher percentage shot, even though it may not be as cool and sexy and feel as, you know, right?
You do want to hit those shots because they're a lot of fun, but as you rise to a higher level, you find they're less effective. And even beyond that, you see 5.0 players that fall into this trap. And there's a reason why the pro game, it's accelerated, but there's still a lot of calculation involved. And certainly better athletes can get away with more things. But at the end of the day, it is a game of discipline.
And efficiency of movement.
Exactly. I like to put that front and center in my game. Certainly, I could probably do a little less efficiency in something like mixed doubles, but definitely when you're efficient in something like men's doubles, it allows you to play more efficiently and short, but also you can play longer and have greater stamina, not just that day, but over a longer period of time.
Cool. Thanks, Collin. Really appreciate your time and amazing insights.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck on the tour.
Appreciate it.
All right.